Alright, so the Straight Talk Wireless 400 around the Homestead-Miami Speedway was on this weekend. The traditional season-ending race in seasons gone by is the third to last race in 2024 and the midway point of the round of 8. And I tell you what, guys, we've got a big one to review here. Let's go into the 5 things that we learned from the Homestead-Miami race in the NASCAR Cup Series this season. So Kyle Larson had a very eventful day, to say the least, and it seemed as though the guy would have absolutely no luck in this one at all. Now, he was up near the front of the pack in the early stages going for the lead, but I think it was Chris Bell and Tyler Reddick who both put in some very stern defences on the number 5 car. But there was a puncture late in stage 1 which ruined his chances of a high stage finish in stage 1, and it seemed as well as on top of that it would have ended his day really in terms of competitive running. He was all the way back in 35th after changing tyres, and he had damage to the right hand side of his car as well. But yeah, after that as well, we had, because of the late caution, Tyler Reddick ended up winning the stage 1. Shout out to Chase Elliott who had an amazing drive at times yesterday as well. Excellent to see him get all the way to P3 by the end of stage 1. I think he started like 20th or something like that, way down the order. And in the end, it was a good day for Chase Elliott as well. Might as well just mention that he got up to 5th place by the finish. But I was going to use this as the final thing, really. But I think realistically, at the moment, unfortunately for Chase Elliott, despite that 5th place finish, he's probably going to be out of the playoffs unless he wins next week in Martinsville. Currently, he has a 43-point deficit. 2 million by him in 2nd place, which is where he would have to be able to qualify for the championship 4 if he doesn't win the next round. But more on that later, more on why it's a top 2 that he'd have to get into as well. Now, the playoff drivers were not having a good day in general in Las Vegas, but they were very much having a much better day around Homestead-Miami. Denny Hamlin, a guy who has won 3 times here in the past, he won stage 2 after a fantastic battle with Chase Elliott in the latter stages of stage 2 as well. He was my pick for the win of this race, I'll be honest with you guys, going into this one, just because he's so fast around here. 3-time winner, the joint most of all time, the most on the NASCAR Cup Series grid. The only guy as well going into this one who in the current playoffs that has won multiple times. The only other driver winning multiple times on the current grid is Kyle Busch, of course not in the playoffs this season. But yeah, Kyle Larson, man, what a driver. What a driver he is in terms of his pace. Now, I will say this because he was going for the lead, believe it or not, in the latter stages of this race in stage 3, despite again being all the way down in 35th. He powered his way through. He was the fastest guy on the track. Unfortunately though, he made a mistake. He made a big mistake. He was trying to pass Ryan Blaney for, I think it was about 3rd place, and there was a lapped car on the outside of the pair. Blaney went to the inside and Kyle Larson tried to slot in the gap between the two of them, but unfortunately it was a gap that was not quite big enough to fit a NASCAR Cup Series car, and he ended up spinning out. It was painful to watch because it seemed like he could have recovered it. He almost held it. He almost held the slide, but unfortunately he spun out. He did recover the car, no damage to the car as a result. He just spun into the infield. He was about 3rd, 4th, something like that. Caution was called. He lost a bunch of places in the pit stop, presumably to check on the car just to make sure that it was okay and change all those 4 wheels and tyres and get enough fuel in the car as well because of that. But in the end, Kyle Larson was down in 13th. It could have been, it could have, and some people might argue it should have been a lot worse given the fact that he had a puncture and also a spin. It's not a disaster for him. He's in 3rd in the standings, but he does need to improve if he's to get through to the round of 4, and that is because Tyler Reddick won this race. He won in fantastic fashion in the end. A brilliant last lap move on Ryan Blaney to take the lead in this one. Blaney finishing in 2nd, Hamlin up in 3rd, Elliott 5th, Bell 4th, and then Byron in 6th. The top 6 taken up completely by playoff drivers currently, which I think just shows you the level to which these guys are driving. And even then, you can kind of excuse Joey Logano because he's already through to the round of 4 anyway. So sorry, the final 4 I should say in the end. So yeah, like I said, Chase Elliott realistically out of the playoffs because of the points gap that he's got at the moment. At the moment, that means that Bell and Byron go through as the top two, and Joey Logano and Tyler Reddick are also going through as well, as virtue of those wins. But we've got Martinsville coming up next week, and it can all change there. I will be bringing you a playoff update in the meantime, and also a preview of the event, going over who's won the most races around Martinsville over the years, and which drivers I'm taking to, paying special attention to this weekend coming up. So yeah, very entertaining race around Homestead-Miami, guys. Let us know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and of course we'll be back very soon for some more NASCAR Stock Car Cup Series content in this playoff campaign. We're going into the penultimate round of the season, the final race in the round of 8 next. We'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.